what it is, what's happening. So today, we got delivery. We got some parts. This is all stuff for the J10 Jeep project. And I got something else, which I'm very excited about. I've never used this product, motor coater. So now, this is the exact correct color that Ford motors are painted. I just opened this can up. I'm very excited. For years, I've always wondered why you could never get an exact match. And I'll go over there and we'll show that to you here in a few minutes. So let's unpackage a few things and see what we got. This stuff should all be for the J10 Jeep project as I look for a razor blade. Let's see what we got. What's in the box? Let me move you closer and we will see what's in the box. Box number one. Seems some people always like to watch people unpack boxes, so I figured why not do a little video, take a few minutes. Ooh, what do we have in box number one? Well, what do we have? Some brake pads. Now, you guys heard me talk about this 1,000 times. Rock Auto, Rock Auto, Rock Auto. I talk about it all the time. It's where I buy a lot of stuff from because these projects are funded by me. I was looking to see what we have. What do we have? Well, it's not too bad, I guess. You always get a magnet. That's not too hateful. At least it's not like a Volkswagen or a BMW. But you guys have heard me talk before that all these projects that are in this shop are my projects. This Jeep, the Rat Rod tow truck, and all the other junk that I've showed and shared on the channel belong to me. So it means it comes out of my pocket. So I always try to buy decent parts and always try to buy on the cheap like anybody else. These brake pads were like $9. They're Raybestos. I mean, you can't go wrong. They're just brake pads. This truck's going to probably see, I don't know, 1,000 miles a year. I mean, they're brake pads. There's nothing special about them. But they are Raybestos pads. And like I said, they were inexpensive. Actually, this whole load of stuff that I got here was $90 worth of parts. So we got front brake pads. Let's see what's in box number two. I knocked my razor blade on the floor. So let me get that. Yeah, I spent $90. Most of the stuff is brake parts, and I don't think the tune-up parts came. I did buy a set of wires and a set of plugs. Oh, looks like the wires did come. Set of plug wires. NGK plug wires. I mean, can't go wrong. Nothing fancy. Ooh, fancy blue. But I mean, it's a name brand. There's nothing wrong with NGK. There was several other brands, but for the cheaper end, these were like $20. So you know what the heck. Rear brake shoes. Uh-oh. Well, that's not too bad. Corvette, at least it's better than a Volkswagen. What's in this box? Oh, transmission filter. The Jeep has a Turbo 400 in it. So I got a filter, and the other day I ordered, let me shove this back in the box. The other day I ordered, because the trans pan's leaking on the Jeep. Now that Jeep's only got 47,000 miles on it. This is a J10 Jeep pickup. But the other day, because I've used these in the past, Amoroso thick. It's got metal on the inside of this rubber. It's reusable. These work very well. I've used these in the past. They work excellent. So I needed a filter because I'm going to service the trans. I'm going to pull the pan. But I did buy this. This was, I want to say it was $25. I did get this on Amazon. I mean, hey, I really hate to cut the local parts stores out, but when these projects are funded by me personally, and this is my junk, I got to try to cut corners where I can. This is an ATP, which I've used in the past, name brand, and I'm sure it's made in Taiwan. Where else is everything else made? And a set of wheel cylinders. And these, judging by this box. These definitely are, well, it says right on there, China. The new America. So that's some wheel cylinders. So I got 2 wheel cylinders. Rear brake shoes. Should be some brake shoe hardware. That might not have showed up yet. So we're missing brake shoe hardware, spark plugs. Yeah, all that's in this box is 2 wheel cylinders, brake shoes, the filter, and the spark plug wires. So I'm still waiting on the brake hardware and spark plugs. But that's fine. We're not working on it right this second, but we are getting geared up to work on it. So I went ahead and ordered the brake parts. So we bought our parts Jeep last weekend. That is a J10. So we're going to take the 3/4 ton rears, 8 lug rears, out of that truck, and they're going to go in our J10, the project. Reason being is we are going to wheel this thing a little bit. We're not going to hammer on it, but the rear axle, they're weak links in those J10s. And since these things are really hard to find parts for, I'd rather put a Dana 60 in it. So that's what's underneath of the other truck. Front rear is still a Dana 44. Just got 8 lug outers. We're just going to swap both rears into the truck, and we'll go ahead and we'll do all the brakes on front and rear, and put them in the truck. We're going to fix the rear half of the frame, put the bed on it, and 2 fenders from our parts truck out back, and hopefully we'll be rocking and rolling. So as of right now, I ordered the basic parts. I did want to throw a set of wires, a set of plugs on it. The cat looked okay, so I'm going to leave it alone. The other day when I started up to move it, it ran kind of rough. I don't know why. It was dead miss on 1 cylinder. I moved it, shut it off. Then when I went back to restart later on, it ran absolutely perfect. So it just could be from sitting. But I don't know when it had plugs in it. And the wires look a little iffy. Truck sat a long time. So we'll throw a set of wires on it, throw a set of plugs in it, and hope for the best. So that's really all that's going on with the Jeep right now. I mean, today's only Thursday. So trying to gather up some parts. Maybe this weekend we'll pull the bed off of the parts truck, set it over on the car trailer out of our way. That way we can kind of set ourselves up for the following weekend is when I'm going to hammer on it. I took a few days off the day job, and I plan to just kind of hammer on this thing. Fix the frame, get the rears under it. That way I've got a couple of days off during the week. If I have to run up to the spring shop to get U-bolts made or anything like that, I can. If I got to run over to the steel place to buy any steel, you know, any angle iron, flat steel, whatever I need, I can run over there during the day. It's kind of why I planned to do it this way. That's why if I get the bed off of the parts truck and get it kind of prepped, the bed off, get the gas tank out of it, then next week I can figure out where I'm going to cut the frame. And if I need any materials, I've got a couple weekdays to run out there to get materials. Why I picked to do it the way I did it. So let me show you this paint because I'm really excited about this. So for years, now I've done some research over the years, and I found some interesting things out. And I'm sure somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but what research I found out was that Ford was famous for, they painted their motors blue. But a lot of times, they were never really blue, like you get in a rattle can. They're actually got a bluish, greenish tint to them. And I'm really excited today because I just got this, I actually bought this off of Amazon. I wanted to try some different paint because over the years, I've always spray bombed the motors, and I've got all kinds of tricks for getting the paint to stick. But over the last couple of years, whatever's going on with materials, something's missing in spray can. I've had an issue with paint just kind of wanting to fall off of these motors lately. And I don't know if it's just cheap paint anymore, something missing in the material, I don't know. So I've seen this stuff online. It's made by KBS Products. Okay? It's called Motor Coater. It's motor paint. They make all kinds of colors. Well, just got it tonight. Just got it. Just took it out of the box. And when I opened it up, I was excited. It's kind of hard to see in a picture, but this is a bluish green. This is the exact color that the motor is supposed to be. Ford motors are never really a bright blue or a dark blue. They actually had a greenish tint to them, and it might really not show up in the video really well, but let's walk over to the Cleveland, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. And then I'll spin you around as well. So you can see I got her all closed up, oil pan on it. Let's see here. That head is original to the motor because you can see the paint matches the block. But if you go over here to the passenger side, this is the head that I got off of the parts motor to fix this motor. That's the original blue paint. And if you look, you can see it's a totally different shade. Like I said, it might not show up really well in the picture or the video, I'm sorry. Obviously, this motor at one time in its life has been repainted. As you can see, the pan's a different blue. You'll find this on older Ford motors. This motor is actually a 71. You can kind of see it here. And again, I don't think it's going to show up really great in the picture or the video, but it's blue, but it's got a kind of a greenish tint to it. Well, that can I opened up is the exact match. So I'm really excited. This will actually be painted the correct Ford blue. Because technically, and we're not restoring this truck, but I just thought it'd be cool to do it. That is really not the right Ford blue for your early motors. It always had a greenish tint to it. But your spray bomb cans don't. I'm looking for a spray bomb can, but I can't find it. But what's interesting is, and I read an article a long time ago, because I'm into Fords, obviously, that somewhere in the 70s, they actually did start painting on more a blue color. And it was something to do with Ford just hosed these things down so that they wouldn't rust, and when you open the hood up, the motor's blue and the inside of the car is black or whatever. But somewheres they started getting a little more picky with the colors. And it also, something about what plant these things were made at had something to do with it too. They were running other paint through the gun or something. I forget what the article said. Don't hold me to it. I'm not an expert, and we don't get into that on this channel. We're just all about building junk. But this bell housing that I'm going to use on that motor, this bell housing is out of a 72 Ford van. And this is original bell housing. This motor had never been apart. And if you look at it, the original paint on it, it's more blue. It doesn't have the greenish tint as I showed you on the Cleveland. The article I read said something about it had to do with plants, where they painted these things, blah, 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 blah. But any which way, doesn't matter. I was just excited that this actually is the real color. I've always wanted to wonder where you could get it. So we're going to paint it. Was not cheap. It was 30 bucks for that little can. By the time shipping and everything, it was 39 bucks. It is what it is. I wanted to try it. I wanted to see how it would look and give it a try. I want to see if it holds up better. Now, some tricks I've used in the past, that motor's been really cleaned up really well. I brake cleaned it down. I wiped it down. Next thing I'll do is I'll take my torch and I'll actually run my torch alongside of the casting. And what that'll do is I'll run it all along here. What that'll do is help pull any oils that are in the casting out and kind of help dry it out. In some of the rusty areas, I will be using, I'm going to use this as my base and then put the blue over top. Now you guys know how I am about this paint. This stuff is the bomb. In fact, I painted the other night thermostat housing. Now this paint, this silver paint, I've talked about it before on the channel. It's a rust paint. It's a moisture curing paint, and it's for rusty metal. This stuff's got a 25-year lifespan, and this stuff works. I mean, it works. I'm not even going to lie to you. In fact, we are now at the end of, we're a week away from the end of June. If you follow me on the channel, you know that I use some of that silver paint in the worst prep work ever on the tailgate of the blue Project Bronco. Well, the blue Project Bronco has been irritating me, so it sits outside until I figure out what I want to do. It's been outside. You can tell today is a rainy, crappy day. The point I'm making is this thing's been outside for a month, where all I did was grind off the flaky stuff, brush on some silver, and the worst prep work you could ever do. Just grind it off, took the air hose and blew the dust off, brushed on 2 coats of the silver, As you can see, no rust has bled through. I'd said on the channel we'll revisit that tailgate, I don't know, November, December, because that Bronco is going to sit outside even when it is done. I know somebody's going to ask about the Bronco. I'm kind of just letting it chill for right now because it's pissing me off. We put a lot of time into trying to get that thing to run right, get it straightened out, and now the fuel pump took a crap. And I think it pushed 2 more push rods back off again, because when you crank it over, it's got that sound like it's got no compression. I talked about putting the diesel in it, and the only reason I was trying to save the 6-cylinder was that truck's got all brand new brakes, all brand new brake lines. It's all done. I was trying to save the 6-cylinder so I could get it tagged antique, and then we were going to do some work to it. But the motor's just been fighting me to run right since. I'm really thinking about just scratching the 6-cylinder, throwing the diesel in, and I can still get it inspected, but I really wanted to antique it, because if I antique it, it never has to go back, and I don't have to pay yearly. Once you antique them in my state, you pay one time, and as long as you keep insurance on it, it never costs you nothing to renew the tags each year. So that's $40 a year I don't have to pay if it's antiqued. Kind of why I was trying to do it. I still might be able to antique it with the diesel in it. I'm not sure. We're going to try. So we might just go ahead and say, to hell with it, stuff the diesel in it. That way it'll be done. That'll be one thing of the project that I wanted to get done. But right now we're kind of concentrating on, well, we're working on the tow truck, because this 351 Cleveland is for the tow truck. It's all ready. It's all back together. It's ready for a coat of paint. And then we'll plop the intake on it. We got to make some plug wires, and we'll start putting all this trash back on the front of it. That way it's complete and ready to go. In fact, I got to dig the flywheel and the clutch out. I got a brand new clutch and flywheel for it. I got to go dig them out this evening. This here is the 7.3. It is 100% complete. It's a running motor. I've had it running. I took it out of a F450. I mean, it's still got the fan on it. The only reason it's wrapped in plastic is we wrapped it up when we moved from the other house to the beach. But it's a complete motor. It still even has a radiator hoses on it. Now, we're going to reseal it before we put it in the Bronco. But I don't want to tear this motor down. So the Cleveland is done 100%. That way I can clean the bench off, and then I can roll it over there, and we can disassemble it and put it all on the bench. We're going to tear it down to a long block, pull the pan, timing cover, intake, valve covers. We're going to reseal it. There's no sense in putting it, it's a greasy motor. It sounds really good. There's no sense in putting it in a truck while it's standing on the stand without going through and taking care of it all. We all know they leak. Those 7.3s always leak oil. Why not reseal it right now while it's sitting on the stand? That's why I want to do it. And we'll probably put a coat of paint on it. Kind of neat, actually, though. 7.3s, they just painted everything. I mean, they painted injection pump, injection lines, injection return lines, hoses. Everything got painted gray. Everything was painted. They must have just... Yep, that's good, boss. Again, project, we're gonna get to that after. We want to get the Jeep done, because the Jeep is heading to, well, we don't live but 20 minutes, 15 minutes away from Ocean City. So in August, in Ocean City, Maryland, is Jeep Week. And they do the Jeep crawl where they drive across the beach. They have an obstacle course, all kinds of Jeep things going on. Now, most of the stuff that's there, probably 90% of it, is just Jeep Wranglers or CJ7s or CJ5s. Last year when I went, there was like a couple of Wagoneers. But most of it was just Jeeps. So we'll kind of be the oddball with a Jeep pickup, but I guarantee it'll draw a crowd, guaranteed. And that's what I like. I like the oddball stuff. At the end of the day, we know the guy that puts the show on. I said, well, how you feel about a Jeep pickup? He says, it's a Jeep. I don't care. So we'll be the oddball there, but that's going to be kind of cool. So we're trying to like thrash to get the J10 out there. That's the whole push to get this thing going. So look, I got some work I got to do in here to make some money to pay for this trash. I got a 2.2 Toyota Camry motor. It's got to go in that Camry. I got a Ford Ranger out there that's getting the motor. I tore the pan. Timer grew off to reseal it, but I saw this loose guy, so I got a timing chain coming for it. I mean, I'm right there. The chain was 30 bucks. I put a timing chain gear in it for 30 bucks. I wanted to reseal the pan because it had all kinds of goop and garbage. They have a rubber pan gasket. You don't have to glue them. Some idiot glued it with gobs and gobs of different glues. I mean, look at this mess. They got red. They got gray. And I mean, they got it glued to the pan. You don't ever glue these rubber gaskets. You don't have to. So when I saw that, I thought, I'm not putting the motor in the truck and then having it leak on me. So I went ahead and pulled it. And the timing covers are known to leak on these 3.0s. So I thought, you know what? I'm just going to throw it on the stand and pull it down and just take care of it now before I put it in the customer's truck. I don't want to send it out of here for $20 worth of gaskets in an hour or so of my time. Send it out of here and then it comes back leaking and then it takes me longer to fix it. No, we're going to fix it now. So we're waiting on a chain for that. So it is what it is. But I'm going to throw a timing belt and cam seals in this little 4-cylinder and then it goes in that car. So look, I'm going to get at it because daylight's running out and I want to knock that out. So I just want to get you guys a little video out there, something to enjoy. Holla at your boys. Keeps it reals. Catch me on the next one.